Welcome to the Basics of Algebra Part 2. In this lesson, we'll learn about exponent laws. Let's start with the easiest of those. If the exponent is 0, then your answer will always be 1. There is no exception. Something to keep in mind is that if your number does not have an exponent, you can consider that number to have an exponent of 1. Now, we have our first rule, the product or multiplying rule. This rule just means that if you multiply two same variables together, you add their exponents. For example, x squared times x cubed equals x to the power of 5. Or x times x equals x squared, because as stated earlier, if there is not an exponent written, the exponent is actually 1. The next rule is the quotient or division rule. If you divide two same variables together, you subtract their exponents. For example, x to the power of 5 divided by x equals x to the power of 4 because the exponents go -1. The next rule is the power rule. If you have a variable inside of brackets and an exponent on the outside, you multiply the two exponents. For example, here we have x squared inside of brackets with the power of 6 on the outside. This will equal x to the power of 12. The next rule is the product rule. If we are dealing with two or more variables, and they are inside of brackets with power on the outside, you will distribute the exponent using the power rule as shown previously. For example, here we have, inside of brackets, x squared times y times z, with a 3 outside of brackets. This exponent will be distributed among the variables, following the power rule. The answer will be x to the power of 6 times y cubed times z cubed. The next rule is the power of a quotient rule. Once again, if you have a fraction inside of brackets and an exponent on the outside, you can just distribute the exponent to all terms. For example, here you have x divided by y squared with an exponent of 8 outside the brackets. This becomes x to the power of 8 over y to the power of 16. The next rule we have already covered in our simple exponents video, but it is the negative exponents rule. If your exponent is negative, you transform the equation as shown here into a fraction. The last rule is called the fractional exponent rule. If you have an exponent that is a fraction, you can solve it by transforming your equation into a root. The numerator becomes your exponent, and your denominator becomes your root, as shown here. So these are your exponent laws. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to leave a comment, and for the next video in the series, we'll explore how to multiply polynomials. Thanks for watching.